In the endless space of heaven, where the light never fades, where all earthly pain and worries are erased, Pope Francis walks. His steps are light, almost as if he does not touch the ground, and his soul feels strangely at peace. In this moment, he is no longer burdened by the stresses of meetings or difficult decisions of the church. Only absolute tranquility remains, as if he has found that this place is where he truly belongs. The light around him envelops him in a magical veil, not a blinding light, but a warm, loving glow, as though it desires to embrace him. But in this silence, a strange feeling begins to stir within him. He senses a presence, a waiting, not from a mortal, but from someone greater. It is a feeling that cannot be expressed in words, but is clear in his heart. And then, like a miracle, a figure appears. It is a man, a familiar figure, but magnificently profound. Jesus Christ. He is not just a figure from history, but an embodiment of love, forgiveness, and endless sacrifice. Pope Francis stops in his tracks. For the first time in his life, he feels small. His eyes cannot leave Jesus, and overwhelming emotions rise in his heart. Each step Jesus takes is like an invitation, an unconditional forgiveness that he is afraid to accept. Jesus stands there, gently smiling, a smile of compassion from one who has seen and understood everything. "You are Pope Francis, aren't you?" Jesus' voice rings out, warm as though he already knows everything about him. Pope Francis bows his head, not out of shyness, but out of deep reverence for the one standing before him. A moment of silence stretches, as if an eternity has passed. Then he responds, his voice choked with emotion. "Yes, I am Pope Francis, but I am just an ordinary person, trying to do good." Jesus smiles, his eyes piercing into the depths of Pope Francis' soul without needing an explanation. "You have done much, but what matters more is, do you truly love? Do you understand God's true love?" Jesus' words strike like a beam of light into his soul. Pope Francis cannot answer immediately, he quietly reflects. What is love? Is it sacrifice, sharing, boundless forgiveness? But has he truly done enough? Has he truly understood the love that God has given to humanity? As they continue walking on the mystical path of light, the space around them seems to dissolve, leaving only the sound of their footsteps echoing in the vast universe. This heaven is unlike any place on earth. There is no darkness, no cold wind, no urgency. Everything here is marked by an unusual calm and serenity. But within this silence, the questions, the deep concerns, continue to rise in Pope Francis' heart. Jesus leads him through the roads of space, where there is no distinction between souls, no difference between the rich and the poor, no borders between nations. Everyone here is the same, all children of God, all loved unconditionally. These souls, though without bodies, still have eyes that shine with hope and indescribable resilience. "You have seen the world from the position of a leader," Jesus says, his voice gentle yet full of undeniable authority. "Do you understand the pain of those you serve? Do you know how many have lost faith in themselves, in humanity, in God?" Pope Francis pauses. He looks down at his hands, the hands that have comforted so many, that have touched so many hearts. But in this moment, he cannot help but ask himself, do these hands do enough to soothe the pain, the suffering that people endure? "Lord," he sighs, his eyes filled with understanding and sadness, "I have tried my best. I have seen so many painful scenes in the world. I have witnessed the poor, the suffering, the hopeless. I have done everything I could, but I cannot change everything. Jesus turns to look at him, his eyes still filled with compassion. He doesn't answer immediately, but gently smiles. That smile is not of pity, but of deep empathy. He knows Pope Francis has given his all, but the love and compassion of humans are boundless and cannot be measured by single actions. Did you know that sometimes the smallest moments can be the ones that change the world? Jesus asks, his voice gentle, as though inviting Pope Francis to discover a deeper truth. Pope Francis stops, his eyes looking deeply at those around him. He sees them, souls passing by, without burdens, without suffering, only absolute peace. A wave of understanding fills his heart. He recalls the times he did something small, like a smile to a stranger, a comforting pat on the back, a gentle handhold for those in distress. Could it be that these moments are what truly change hearts? But have you ever felt the love of those around you? Jesus continues, not as a challenge, but as an invitation. When you look into the eyes of an orphaned child, a poor person, a sick one, do you see their sincere love for you? They love without expecting anything. They give love without needing anything in return. Pope Francis silently gazes into Jesus' eyes, and he understands. He understands that in those small actions, in those sincere looks, there lies an unimaginable strength. He doesn't need to do grand things or save the world. Sometimes love is just a hand to hold, a gentle glance, a word of comfort. Jesus does not demand that he change the world. He only wishes for him to live true to the love that God has given. Jesus continues to lead him through the paths of light, and the questions seem to echo in his heart like an unending lesson. Did you know that in those moments when you feel weakest, you can become the strongest? Did you know that forgiveness is not just a gift you give to others, but a gift you give to yourself? Pope Francis looks at him, those words like a fire igniting in his soul. Forgiveness. This is what he has learned over the years as Pope. But today, in this sacred space, he truly understands the boundless power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about lightening someone else's burden, but freeing oneself from the weight of hatred and suffering. Jesus looks at him once more, his eyes filled with compassion, perhaps even pride. You understand now, don't you? Love has no borders, no distinctions. Love is sacrifice, unconditional giving, and endless forgiveness. Pope Francis says nothing, but his heart is now filled with the teachings of Jesus. From now on, he no longer feels burdened, no longer afraid, because he knows that love is the most powerful thing, the thing that will guide him through all the challenges of life. You will continue this journey with an open heart, won't you? Jesus asks. And that question is not just a blessing, but an invitation for him to continue walking, continue loving, continue forgiving. Pope Francis looks up, his eyes shining, as though he has found a great part of his journey. Yes, Lord, I will continue with love in my heart, and I will never stop. Jesus leads Pope Francis to a special place. There is no distinction, no division. Here, there is only love and unconditional forgiveness. The poor, the forsaken, all sit around, their eyes on Jesus and Pope Francis, waiting for a word of comfort, a word of forgiveness. Pope Francis feels their gaze, their eyes filled with hope, full of longing. They do not need promises. They only need one thing, true love from a person. Jesus looks at him, his gaze filled with patience and forgiveness. You have seen their pain. You can feel the pain in their hearts. Love is not something distant. It is forgiveness. Forgiveness is how we draw closer to each other, how we merge together without barriers. Pope Francis closes his eyes, and a wave of emotion surges in his heart. He thinks of all his mistakes, his difficult decisions, the times when he felt he could not do enough. But now he understands that love is not perfection, it is acceptance, forgiveness of oneself and others. When Pope Francis opens his eyes, he sees Jesus smiling. Do you understand now? You love not to receive, but to give. And when you forgive, you too are set free. Pope Francis stands there in the silence of heaven, realizing that his journey does not end here. The love Jesus has for humanity is infinite, and he, though just a small man, can continue spreading that love. Love has no borders, no conditions, and it will always be the one thing he carries with him on his journey through life. As he turns to look back, the light of heaven opens before him, and a sense of absolute peace fills his soul. Jesus has taught him that love is the only path, and he will never walk alone again.